Matthew's message, June 11, 2013. Turkey, Syria, other Mid-Eastern countries. China, USA. National Security Agency. Monsanto Protection Act. President Obama. Negativity release. Nuclear power facilities. Nuclear weapons. Bilderberg Conference. Canadian Defense Minister, ETs. Hatton's comments. With loving greetings from all souls at this station, this is Matthew. As we address the issues in which readers have expressed greatest interest, please keep in mind that the negative end of the duality spectrum is at its zenith, and that energy, once set in motion, must run its course. You are seeing the combination of individuals with violent tendencies following their intensified urge to commit violence, whether in random acts or leaders oppressing their peoples, and the playing out of energy in many diverse situations around your world. Turmoil in Turkey, ostensibly to protect a park, was instigated by the CIA's Black Ops to stoke the fire between the Sunnis and Shiites and lead to a blazing war. Just as all other countries in your world, Turkey has policies that are not satisfying every citizen, but it is economically sound and progressive, and that's what the Illuminati want to destroy. Although their global network has come apart at the seams, a few peak individuals are stuck in their delusion that they will take over the entire Mid-East and move on to control the rest of the world too. Most assuredly, that will not happen, and when the unrest in Turkey subsides, and it shall soon, some reforms will emerge and further strengthen the country's progressive path. In Mid-Eastern countries where the people have ousted despotic or dynastic rulers, freedom is new and it is natural that there is confusion about leadership and governance. Eventually a consensus will be reached in each country and the kind of democratic rule that best suits each will be instituted. Syria is somewhat different because disparate groups are battling the Assad regime. Their purpose is the same, but each group has its own agenda, so to say. When victory does come, there will be a time of severe dissension led by the most radical in the groups until common sense and wisdom prevail. Then a coalition will be formed to move the country toward a peaceful stability. China's interest is not in economically conquering the USA, but in dealing with its serious internal issues. Among the world's major nations economically speaking, China and the United States have the largest internal challenges. Due to its authoritarian nature tempered by clear vision, the Chinese government is working on solutions to its problem areas. Due to democracy gone awry, action in the United States in regard to troublesome areas is comparatively at a standstill. This is an appropriate place to address questions that many readers have asked. How can U.S. President Obama defend the National Security Agency's collection of data from citizens' private telephone conversations and internet records? Why did he sign the Monsanto Protection Act? Congressional actions are public knowledge, but what goes on behind closed doors is not known, and we shall tell you what is relevant to these two situations. President Obama defended NSA's data gathering, which was authorized in the Patriot Act passed during George W. Bush's administration, on the authentic basis that it has led to discovering and thwarting numerous terrorist plans. What the president cannot say, and Bush never would, is that the most extensive terrorist acts that met failure and most of the lesser plots that also got shot down were those devised by the CIA faction under Illuminati control. Neither can Obama disclose that ETs are working in the NSA and other agencies in that country and in several others. They are collecting and analyzing information on all Illuminati activities around the globe and using it to weaken their operations and obtain evidence for prosecution. When this has served its purpose, bringing to its final moment the Illuminati reign, the Patriot Act and also Homeland Security will come to an end. As for the Monsanto Protection Act, Illuminati spokespersons told the president that if he vetoed it, Congress would override it. Furthermore, they would intensify their efforts to overturn the Affordable Health Care Act, block legislation that could relieve some immigration issues, and doom attempts to resolve international conflicts by rational discussions instead of belligerent confrontation. That is the down-to-earth reason, you could say, that Obama signed the bill, But there is another facet of this that the Illuminati bloc doesn't know. Despite their threats, the president was not going to sign the act. He did so because ETs close to him advised it. Their higher perspective was that citizens' outrage at this insidious bill needs to motivate them to force its nullification. The people must exercise their right and responsibility to demand that their elected officials end stubborn partisanship, stop letting lobbyists' money dictate their votes on legislation, and start serving the best interests of the country. By no means does this apply only to the United States. Governments in every country must start serving the needs of their people because this goes to the very heart of Earth's golden age and soul evolvement. As mentioned in previous messages, Earth's populace is in fourth density as far as location, but many have not yet reached this density consciously or spiritually. Just as Earth's ascension was predestined, so was her golden age, but when that age blooms in glorious fullness in your linear time depends upon the people's collective thoughts, feelings and actions. We cannot emphasize too strongly how greatly your light is needed to help your society advance in conscious and spiritual awareness. The universal law of attraction is an essential part of advancement. By concentrating on dissatisfaction with governing systems, injustices and nefarious activities, the populace is sending forth energy that is prolonging situations they want to end. They need to know that by focusing instead on what they want, they generate the energy that will manifest it. They need to be discerning about information from all sources by asking within, where the truth is known, as to whether something is fact or fiction, true or false. We first spoke of Barack Obama prior to the 2008 primary election in the United States, when we stated that he would be elected president. We have spoken about him numerous times since then, including before the 2012 election when we said he would remain in office and why. After each of our many messages that mentioned Obama went out, my mother was inundated with emails. Advocates of the Republican Party's ideologies vehemently denounce what we tell you about him, and his supporters want to know if he can surmount the formidable opposition he faces. Some ask, is he still a light-filled being? Yes, he is. We shall add a bit to that, but first we say, it is politics that has subjected Earth's successive generations towards horrendous death tolls and destruction, and has created an unconscionably lopsided distribution of your world's vast riches. We are not overlooking the part that religions have played, but it is those who rule church and state who drive their followers onto the battlefield. For long ages the foundation of your world's political systems was the madness of conquest and bloodshed, corruption and deception. Eventually it created such a mass of negativity that Earth's very life was at stake. Gaia, the soul that embodied as your planet, didn't want her body and all of its life forms to die. Thus, in accordance with Gaia's request and God's blessing, far-distant civilizations infused the planet with life-saving light, and the highest universal council created the master plan for a new era that became known as Earth's Golden Age. They asked a soul from a highly advanced civilization to take on one of the most difficult tasks, Presidency of the United States, a role that would transcend politics worldwide. Yes, absolutely, Barack Obama is as light-filled as when he agreed to accept the mission to right the wrongs in that country and be in the vanguard of world peace bringers. Throughout his time in office, he has been diligently working behind the scenes to dismantle the network that enabled the Illuminati to control everything that impacts life in your world. Their power to stymie or completely derail his efforts has been formidable and largely successful, but when their influence within and beyond the Congress ends, you shall see the truth of our words about Obama. Now let us put negativity into the context of weather and geophysical events, which you may not have considered as the evidence of change that they are. The intensive light that saved Earth's life gave her the strength to start releasing negativity via powerful earthquakes, volcanic eruptions and severe storms that resulted in massive death toll and destruction. The last of the old negativity was eliminated about 6 months ago. That's what enabled Earth to enter fourth density. New negativity caused by ongoing violence is being released through a series of earthquakes in areas where there is little, if any, loss of life or land destruction, and the same with volcanic eruptions. more is being dispersed via torrential rainstorms in some areas and wildfires in others. Water and fire are nature's cleansing elements. Never again will negativity amass on the planet, and none of the predicted cataclysms will occur. The darkness that for long ages enshrouded Earth is gone, but mopping up what was left in its wake will continue until she reaches the plains where violence doesn't exist. She won't get there next week or next month, but aided by light forces within, on and beyond Earth, she is moving toward that space at a speed that is unique in this universe, and all along the way, violence will lessen and so will storms, quakes and volcanic activity. Moving on now to other matters readers are questioning. Some time ago radioactive emissions from Japan's damaged nuclear facility were neutralized to the extent that they posed no new health risks. Eventually all nuclear power plants, stored waste and other toxic pollution will be technologically dematerialized. In the meantime, crews in your skies are using technology aboard their ships to safeguard nuclear facilities that still are in use. Concerns about countries with nuclear weapons acting rashly, other countries racing to develop or acquire those arms, and accidental launches are totally unnecessary. By Creator's decree and God's authorization, civilizations with the ability to prevent deliberate or accidental nuclear strikes will continue doing that. During the Bilderberg Conference, the Illuminati could scarcely disguise their deepening worries about how much longer they can control banking, lending and investing around the world. They have almost exhausted the means whereby they have been able to keep their fortunes intact. As mentioned earlier, individuals within and outside the NSA have been collecting evidence that the Illuminati acquired those fortunes illegally and unethically. However, until all documentation is presented in airtight cases to the various courts and then justly ruled upon, the funds will remain in Illuminati hands. It was with joy that we heard about the Canadian Minister of Defence's acknowledgement of the presence of other civilizations. It isn't known yet how much this may affect the timing of landings and when ETs living among you will identify themselves. Mother, please insert Hatton's reply to your question about this. As encouraging as that acknowledgement is, it's not enough for landings tomorrow. The word we got is, you have to put your house in better order first. No one expects you to do it by yourselves, that's why we're here. Susie, my friend, you know we aren't going to take over your world, but most people don't. They are curious about us but not convinced that if we landed, it would be to help. They don't have a clue about what we've been doing for Earth for centuries. They're more like, why would ETs be interested in us? When they see things moving in good directions and feel more confident about what's changing, they may not be so leery about strangers dropping in. But that Illuminati propaganda about ETs may seem friendly, but they're going to enslave you is still making internet rounds. Anyway, the bottom line is, God's in charge. He will know when you're ready to welcome us and then give the council the go sign. We're even more eager for that than you are, Susie. Thank you, Mother, and please copy the link to the short video that also adds energy to speeding the day when you will meet your space benefactors. We hope you will feel inspired to support this group's efforts to spread the word. Our beloved Earth family, billions of souls want the same as you. To live in a peaceful world where everyone's needs are plentifully met, where all leaders are wise and honorable and life is in harmony with nature. But they don't know how to help make the world that way, and you do. You are there to be the way showers. By living from your heart, you are exemplifying to everyone around you that love is the way to create the world that they, and you, want. Remember, in the continuum, the era of world peace, joy, beauty, kindness, mutual respect, abundance and marvelous adventure already is. Love and peace. Channeled by Suzanne Ward. www.matthewbooks.com